So I want to ask you a question. How many of you guys are old enough to remember this? Okay, I'm not that old. But this is actually how the telephone system kind of started off. You'd have a phone in your house. You'd have to pick up the handle. You turn a little knob. It would notify the operator. And then you told the operator who it was you wanted to talk to. And then she would make the connection between you and whoever it is you wanted to call. Well, technology changed on us. And we then went to something called the rotary phone. This is actually the first phone or the first type of phone that I remember growing up with. Again, things continue to change, and we then got the famous push-button phone. And I'm going to say a majority of you folks probably grew up with one of these, or maybe not. A funny story, took my family to a vacation. We went into the hotel room, and one of these was sitting there, and my 8-year-old son said, "What's that, Dad?" Yeah, made me feel really old. But growing up, we started to add additional accessories or additional features to our devices. Because of the fact that we had to have cords, we ended up purchasing like 25-foot cords. And if you're really special and you could figure things out, you could connect 2 of those up, have 50-foot cords, and walk anywhere in the house. But you were still tethered back to that original phone. Well, we then have wireless that came around, and we were all excited about it because we didn't have to buy those stupid 25-foot phone cords. Again, the reception wasn't that great, but it kind of gave some folks some ideas, and those ideas transitioned into the cell phones that we have today. And of course, we've gone through several of these renditions of different phones, and as we've come up with these different versions of phones, they've come up with new features which have forced us to actually look at these devices a little differently. You know, who would have ever thought back in the day that we would have GPS or that our phones would have cameras built into them? And that's kind of the same concept here, is seeing this evolution that's taking place brings us to understanding what's going on and how to actually take care of ourselves from a security perspective. Hi, my name is Dale Meredith, and I'd like to welcome you to Enterprise Security Policies, Practices, and Procedures. This particular course is going to lay the foundation for us, or the cornerstones for us, for several different things that we need to be looking at when it comes to security. Now, this course is actually part of a series of courses that's going to help you with a plethora, if you know anything about me, you know that's my favorite word, a plethora of certifications that you might be looking at. The information we'll be covering in this course, as well as the whole series, will help you in preparation for the GCIH, which is short for the certification of incident handler, for the Global Information Assurance Certification, or the GIAC. This course also will support if you're going after your ECIH, which is, again, another incident handling certification. This one's supported by EC Council, who is famous for the Certified Ethical Hacking certification. But again, just focusing on the incident handling portion of security. And of course, the new, or at least at the recording of this particular course, the CSA by CompTIA, or I should say the CSA Plus. This acronym is obviously short for the CompTIA Security Analyst. Now, that's not all that this course or the series is going to cover as far as certification. Any type of security certification you might be going after, these courses will actually help you out. Now, I've been a Microsoft trainer since 1998 and a certified ethical hacker, as well as a certified EC Council instructor since the early 2000s. I also like to throw in a couple of new certifications. These are my own personal certifications, the RSVP. That's so that I can come to your party. Or the PDQ. Yeah, no, you're not buying that. Or the OK. No. Well, let's get back to what I was just talking about as far as what's happening. What's happening not only just in the telephone world, but in IT or in the electronic device arena. There's some things happening that we need to be aware of. One of them is it's not the same anymore, meaning the technology we had years ago obviously is different today. And believe it or not, it's not the same later either. In fact, change is a part of this industry. It's actually one of the reasons why I enjoy this industry so much. I often say that I couldn't imagine myself being like an accountant or a plumber, where it's the same thing day in and day out. I love the fact that this industry changes, and it's just part of my personality. And more than likely, since you're in the same industry, you probably have the same type of feelings. So in this particular course, we're going to talk about these three things, or as far as what we can do about it. So we'll go through in this particular course, and we're going to talk about security data analytics, meaning what's going on in the environment today. We'll also go through and look at some defense in-depth processes. This is typically where it all begins for us, or it's our first line of defense. We'll also take a look at what tools that we can use in protecting ourselves. And of course, we'll look at something called drill, test, rinse, repeat. I stole that off the back of a bottle of shampoo. But it's really about testing our own environments. We refer to it as pen testing. We'll then go through and talk about the fundamentals of frameworks, policies, controls, and procedures. So I'll give you some time to go get something to drink, because we're going to sit down and drill through this information. Adjust your headphones or your speakers, and when you're ready, let's get going.